Hello and welcome to Life Coaching Comedians. Here, there's no client confidentiality because it's funny. I'm your life coach, Lexis Sharde. And today we have a new comedian joining us, Troy Willson. He's been described as funnier on stage than in real life, and a darker shade of black, and is known as Albuquerque's most offensive comedian. Troy's been hitting open mics shortly after rescuing a pug in August of 2014. And he continues to get as much stage time as possible. He's also created a unique comedy contest called the Ultimate Comedy FightClub. Sit tight while I get Troy on the line right away. Well, hello, Troy.
Hello, good afternoon.
Good afternoon. I am so glad I got your call today.
I'm glad I broke through as well.
So tell me, what brings you today? What is bothering you?
It's a situation that occurred here. I'll start. I'll just tell you the whole story. So there's a journalist who was interested in doing a story about a local comedian. She's 83 years old, and she's doing like a one-woman show for a few weeks. So she sent out a group text message, whatever, asking for people's input, so she could put it in the story. Completely unprovoked, some guy said something to the effect of, well, I know I wouldn't ask Troy, the guy who threatens to rape from the stage. And then he left the message thread, and I approached him in person about it. On the thread I said, if you have a problem with somebody, you should probably take it up with them personally. But in regards to what this text was about, blah blah blah, I said my piece. So then the piece came out, and the author said that said that I do a grandmother rape joke, and it's like I don't, and it's completely terrible because that's like an unrealistic expectation I feel she's putting on me. I have to come up with one now.
Tell me the joke. I want to hear it.
This is the joke. So my grandmother says, Troy, the whiskers, what's with the look? I said, well, Grandma, I'm just trying to find myself. And without skipping a beat, this 90-year-old woman said, have you tried a mirror or any other reflective surface? Because you look fucking terrible. And the worst part about that story is my grandmother's legally blind, and
she's got a sense of humor. It runs in the family.
Yeah, and her braille is on point, right? But I'm like, Grandma, I'm a comedian. And she says, well, tell me a joke. I said, okay. Have you ever noticed how a blowjob feels different from a woman with bad breath? Yeah, me neither. My grandma said, ooh, Troy, I don't like that joke. I said, ooh, Grandma, I don't like your bad breath. Now put your dentures back in.
That is terrible.
It's completely awful, yes. But there's absolutely no rape involved in that joke.
No, because she was a consenting adult.
So...
I'm assuming that she was a consenting adult.
Yeah, so there...
That's more of an incest joke. It's not a rape joke.
Yeah, exactly. And, I
you look more like an incestual person than the rapey person. Let's just make that clear.
Yeah, I do?
Yeah.
Wait, okay. All
So
right.
it works for you, is what I'm saying, as your
Yeah,
comedic style.
yeah. Uh, but another thing, who would get raped with a blowjob? Like that doesn't like wouldn't the
That
blower
only
just bite
happens in
down?
prison, I believe.
Yeah, like I would think the blower would bite down and like then it's I don't know. But
Okay,
anyway,
so we've established it's not a rape joke. It's just an ancestral joke. And
yeah.
but they said that you made a rapey joke and continue your story.
Well, I feel like I can't control what people are gonna say, but to misrepresent me in that way, from a journalist, number one, I feel is just completely, unprofessional and
Well, that's what journalists do. They bash people. Let me ask you something, Troy. Why does
yeah.
it bother you so much when you promote yourself as the most offensive comic? Why does it bother you when people are saying you're offensive? Isn't that what you want?
Well, I guess it does like I want to get her to write a retraction is all. Yeah, and this other guy who's saying that I threatened to rape people, like that could be hurtful to, like obviously no one wants that,
Oh, yeah, I agree
and
that.
and just to say that, I'm
Did
not
you
denying.
threaten to rape somebody?
No,
Was
no.
there another joke that maybe was misinterpreted?
Yes, there was. It was probably within the first 2 months or month of me doing stand up, and there was it was open mic, and there was a table of people chatting, talking through the whole time. I was having a decent set for that early on, and I said something about the woman over there doesn't know that there's an open mic going on. The proper etiquette is to not talk when if I can hear you and I'm amplified, and no one should ever hit a woman, but she's making a pretty convincing case against that, right? And I continued on, uh, and then I ended with, all right, something to the effect of, all right, and have a good night. Just be careful on your way to the car, woman in the flower dress. All right, I'm Troy. Take care. So, I mean,
Hmm.
it was, admittedly terrible, because it wasn't like a
It's
veiled
not, it
threat.
wouldn't have been terrible if you didn't talk about hitting women before. I mean, the thing about comedy,
Yeah.
Troy, that would be the thing about being a comic is we say things that are offensive, but we also have to be aware of the current things that are going on in the society that people are sensitive to. It's like right now we have all this cultural sensitivity going on with Gucci and Burberry. And, I'm kind of a conspiracy theorist. I think these corporations are doing these racial things because race is what's being talked about right now. And I mean, like, when was the last time you even heard about Burberry? I mean, they're probably just doing it for a publicity stunt.
Yeah.
And I mean, and you can do that as a comic too. You can say things. I think comedians do that as well. So, I understand you're upset and you don't want to be known as this, rapey person or, a woman beater. That's not who you are. You're just making jokes. But no publicity is bad publicity, and bad
I
publicity
agree.
is good publicity, and good publicity is great publicity. So run with it. You should react to it yourself. You should, we could use this video, you could use this podcast as a way to kind of revamp yourself and see, what a cool guy you are. You're just a little incestual. There's nothing wrong with that.
Yeah. Right? Keep it in the family. I
Hmm.
don't.
As long
Yeah.
as grandma's happy, then we're all happy.
Yeah. And grandma will be happy as long as she never hears about this joke. Um, and of
Well,
course, of
just
course, I'm
keep
not.
grandma off the internet. I think you'll be
Yeah.
okay.
And of course, I don't promote. I'm not into incest. But it's just it's funny because it's shocking. It's funny because it's so ridiculous.
Hmm.
It's and that's my style. And
Hmm. No, own it. Own it.
Yeah.
You know, own your
I just
style.
it's just I approached the guy, in person and asked him, what was he trying to accomplish by, you know, saying saying that not to ask me, based we haven't had an interaction, the two of us, in a year or more. So it's like, I just want to know, like, what were you trying to do, and he didn't really have a good answer. And
Well, you can't trust a journalist, Troy.
yeah.
I mean, have you ever watched Gossip Girl?
XOXO.
Yeah. Gossip
I
Girl was the journalist. I mean, come
Yeah.
on. You cannot trust a journalist. Not good
So
people.
I mean, and if that's my biggest problem, my life's pretty fucking good.
Okay.
So
So, I mean, do you feel a little bit better now that we talked about it?
yeah, I mean,
Okay.
just getting it off my chest. And obviously, there's three sides to every story. My side, their side, and the truth. So you heard my side. Yeah, I'm sure if you talk to them, you'd get a completely different version of
Well,
things. But
maybe I'll start another podcast called Life Coaching Journalist, and I'll invite him on.
oh no, yeah, she would not have that. Uh, she's, but whatever. So
Yeah,
yeah.
journalists don't take constructive criticism very well.
No, and this one especially, she's dipped her toes in the open mic scene. So
Oh, so
yeah,
is she a comic herself?
uh, she's a writer. So, but she,
Well, obviously she's a writer.
yeah. But so when you see the level of open micness, like she's a writer, so she feels like, oh, I could do that, and
Hmm.
and she tries, bless her heart.
You're
So
so sweet, Trey. You're such a kind human.
yes, don't spread that rumor though.
Well, this will be broadcasted, so can't make any
Oh,
promises there.
all right.
So your strategy moving forward with this, what are you gonna do?
Uh, I I really I really thought about writing a grandmother rape joke, but my mother was adamantly against that. So it puts me in a quandary,
I don't
because
think that you should write a grandmother rape joke. I think you could make a joke out of it, but in a more creative way.
yeah, I think that's that would probably be the best
Mm-hmm.
route. But yeah, and obviously I would get a chance to tell the joke. Um,
I mean, you could even make it something really simple where like you can make it a story about you helping your grandmother because she is really old and she freaked out and had a dream that she was raped or something like that. So it's something that you could tell is easily misconstrued where it has nothing to do with you raping your grandmother.
yeah, okay.
Um, I've never said raping grandmother so many times in my life.
Wow. Oh,
So, okay, I want you to. That's going to be one of my assignments for you is to come up with a strategy on how you're going to overcome that. And how you're going, you got to fight back as the bigger person. So,
yes. Can I get my
absolutely, absolutely.
sorry, I should have had it prepared before sitting down. Okay.
Is that a hand on your bookshelf?
It is. It's an arm. It's a forearm. Uh, Chuck Palahniuk came, and
Oh, I love
uh,
him.
I as well. You can see there's several of his books here, but he came and did
I love
a
how you use the
reading.
fingers of the hand to point at the books.
That's what it's for.
Yes.
Um, yeah, he did a book reading, I don't know, 4 years ago
Mm-hmm.
at UNM, and it was right before Halloween, so he threw out a bunch of them and candies. So I
That's
was lucky
awesome.
enough to get one of those. So
He is
All
from
right,
my
my
home state, so I'm a big, big fan.
yeah. My assignment number one is um,
I want
work.
you to use this negative feedback, this negative publicity, so to speak, as a creative way to add to your comedy. So, however you decide to respond to it, I want it to be in a creative, comedic way.
Okay.
Okay? Use it to your advantage. But do not make a grandma rape joke.
Okay.
Listen to your mother. I'm not your mother, but
Yeah.
I'm your mother from another mother,
Yeah.
if that makes
Uh,
sense. Okay?
all right. Yes.
Okay, so you said besides that your life is awesome. Is there anything else that you want to talk about today?
Oh, I mean, I relationships, I guess, is always an issue.
Always an issue.
Well, I think with everyone, like, but me especially. Yeah. It's been a minute since old Troy has had a girlfriend.
Okay, so I'm gonna stop you right there.
Yeah.
Words, my friend, are very powerful. So if you say that your love life is always an issue, guess what? It's
It's
always going to be an issue.
yeah.
Okay? So let's start with changing your verbiage a little bit. But continue. Tell me why you think that your love life is always an issue.
Oh, because we're like when you're older, it's tougher to meet people, I guess. When you're younger, you're in school or maybe working or you're in sports or whatever. So there's a lot of places to meet people. When you're older, you get there's just not that many opportunities.
I
You know,
think that's just complete bullshit.
uh,
There are
I,
so many activities for old people. Like, I cannot wait until I get old. I mean, there's the recreational centers, there's all kinds of class. Because, old people, when they get retired, they don't have much to do. They have lots of free time. I
yes,
mean, I went to Marshall's the other day in the middle of the day, and there was like seven cougars there, like old cougars. And I'm just thinking, I mean, do you ever go to Target? I mean, the men to woman ratio there is like 1 to 10, and
yeah,
they're already looking for shit that they don't need. So that's the perfect
yeah.
opportunity for you.
Hey, that's a great line. You're already.
Don't steal my jokes. So I think you just need to be a little bit more creative and have a different perspective. How old are you, Troy?
On the internet, I'm 34, but IRL, I'm 44.
That's not even that old. What do you like to do in your spare time?
I do comedy. I also go to the gym. I'll do yoga at the gym.
So how
Uh,
are you not meeting, yoga bunnies? I mean, there's
I,
so many women that do yoga. So every
I,
day, I mean, think
yeah,
about how
it's
big your
just
class is.
I I go to the gym to do my thing in yoga. Like I'm not there to hit
I'm
on
not
women.
saying hit on women during the class. Do your thing, right?
Right.
We go to the gym in the morning to feel our best, so our minds optimize at its fullest potential. So right when you're done with that class, you're probably feeling pretty amazing. You're probably feeling pretty confident, and so are those hotties in your yogi class. So why not, and then they stick around and chat with each other, so you can find
Yeah.
something to chat about. You can find
Well,
an
I
icebreaker.
just plug my comedy, shows coming up, I guess.
You could, yeah. Hey, are you into comedy? I've been
Do you
seeing
like to
you.
laugh?
Yes, and And you know, as comedians, usually our shows and going to shows is part of our social life, even though it's part of our career life.
Yeah.
So take advantage of when you're going to those shows too. I mean, sometimes we get so worked up and we're so focused, tunnel vision on making sure we have a good set. But sometimes it's better to, chit chat with people in the audience and get your mind off of it to ease the tension, you know? And so use those opportunities. Oh, hello, little Peggy.
That's Mieshka.
Hi, Mieshka.
This is the only woman in my life, so.
Is she part lizard?
No.
Look at that.
That tongue, though. That tongue just
Does it always stick out like that?
Yes.
Is it dry on the tip?
No.
She's so dopey, so cute.
All right. Say bye.
Bye-bye. So, you think you can do that, Troy? Put yourself out there a little bit more. Because you have the opportunities there, you're just not using them.
So, I'm going to give myself approach one person each gym visit.
Yes. And you can totally use your comedy as a crutch.
Okay.
I love how dedicated you are to this.
Of course. I'm always trying to be better, And comedy's weird because you can't really judge yourself against others because you're not going to be them. You have to judge yourself on yourself.
Just like in real life. Same thing. Mm-hmm. So I want to take kind of a shift here because we've, talked about some things that you've been struggling with. I want to end on a positive note and leave you with something to feel good about. So tell me something that might have happened recently that you're really proud about, or maybe a situation that you felt that you handled well, or an accomplishment.
Well, I will say that Albuquerque has a comedy club opening up the 1st of April, which we haven't had a dedicated comedy club in this city for 15 years. So that's the 1st of April it's opening, and I'm already booked to feature for the Smash Brothers on the 24th, the weekend of the 24th. So
that's exciting.
Yeah. So
is that going to be like the main comedy club now in Albuquerque?
Well, yeah, and I mean, right now it's mostly just breweries. We have so many breweries, and to get people in there, they got to do something. There's geeks who drink every night of the week somewhere, I'm sure. Bands, and there's a lot of comedy. So, I'm hoping that it survives. Because at the end of the day, that comedy club is just another bar. Although they'll have comedy there, but Albuquerque's a weird place. People.
New Mexico is just weird in general.
Yeah, like people kind of, like we have the Isotopes, and I was there on opening day, and there was, maybe a quarter of the stadium was full. It's like we can't even support, AAA baseball. So
are you from New Mexico originally?
Hell no, I'm from Chicago.
I love how you're like, hell no.
Yeah.
So what brought you to New Mexico? I always wonder what takes people there.
My parents were sick of the weather and relatives, so they wanted to dip out of Chicago. They did some research, California too expensive, the Carolinas had the hurricane issues, and then they saw, Albuquerque. We were here in February, and I was walking around in a flannel shirt, and it's like, holy cow. And they loved it. They bought property, and then we moved when I was in the middle of high school. I went back to Illinois for a year of college, and I was like, what am I doing? Why would I subject myself to this weather? It's ridiculous. And then I came back here and finished college and just stayed here. It's a beautiful place. The cost of living is pretty cheap. Um, yeah.
So you're happy.
Yeah, I think,
You just need to get you a lady friend besides your dog.
yeah, yeah, I've had my issues, but I think I've worked through them. I'm a better person. I'm a great catch for whatever woman ends up with me. That's for damn sure. Uh,
Do you
I'm
ride Harleys?
I only ride one because that's all you can do pretty much physically as a person. But
Well, I
yeah,
mean, do you have more than one bike, or you just
nah,
have?
I only have the one.
Hmm.
Uh, and then my other car is a '62 Chrysler Imperial.
Well, not to bring up grandmas again, but my grandma loves a man on a Harley.
Yeah,
She might be a little old for you, though.
hey, it's whatever. It's still flattering, I'll take the compliment.
Hmm.
Yeah,
I love Harleys too. They're fun, but the crotch rockets are a little bit more my style.
yeah, yeah. I grew up around Harleys, and my dad always said that there's two kinds of bikes. There's Harleys and there's Hardleys. Uh,
I like that.
Yeah, and I'm pretty brand loyal, and Harley owners are like in terms of a demographic of people, they are very brand loyal.
Oh, they very much are.
I won't buy Harley Davidson shit because HD means that just stands for $100 because
Hmm.
and whatever it costs, you add on $100 and that's what you're paying for it.
Hmm.
So
Hmm.
I don't support them monetarily. This was a gift. Everything I have that's Harley is was a gift. So,
Yeah.
but yeah, I love it.
Okay, Troy, so before we go, I just wanted to make note of your performance you mentioned. So you said you're going to be performing at the Albuquerque Comedy Club the end of this month, you said?
So the final Friday of every month, I run a comedy competition.
Mm-hmm.
There's four comedians. They battle it out, end up with one winner for the night, and it's a whole big thing. They come back, battle the other winners. It's the final Friday of every month. And then the first Friday of every month, I linked up with Heron Entertainment. He's out of New York, and he sets up shows all across the country at breweries and wineries and now distilleries. So when they come through Albuquerque, I'm the one who hosts them, sets up the venue, house the comedians when they're here, and I also get to do time. So it's a good deal. So the first Friday of every month and the final Friday of every month are set shows. We were doing a Thursday open mic every week, but the place we were doing it at closed, so we have to see about moving to a new location. And then once the comedy club opens in April, Six Sun Production is in charge of booking Sundays. So we'll be booking the Sundays, getting people out here, and that's a good time. So, and then the uh, the weekend of the 24th of April, I will be featuring for the Smash Brothers at the Comedy Club.
24th of April. That is so
I
exciting.
I think it's the 24th, 25th, and 26th. It's Thursday, Friday, Saturday.
Ooh, a 3-day extravaganza.
Yes, that's how the club's gonna go.
Do you think you can figure out your creative joke to by that time, and you could showcase it at that show?
I might,
Okay, okay. I want to
yeah.
make sure you record your performance and send it to
Uh,
me.
because I'm such a liability, I record all of my performances.
That is
So
smart. Mm-hmm.
yeah, there's of course there's one that I had a a write-up on that got me banned from a place I didn't have it recorded.
You need to just start wearing a GoPro like these cops do everywhere you go.
Well, that's
for
what
insurance.
That's what this thing's perfect for.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I can snap it on my tie there or whatever.
Comedians really have to protect themselves nowadays. I'm just saying.
Oh, definitely. You know, that's
the world is very sensitive right now.
Yes.
Well, Troy, it has been an honor to have you on my show today. And I think you are on a very good path. And I just think that, really take those challenges I gave you and don't let those negative reviews, bring you down. Find a way to bounce back for them in a positive way and use it creatively,
Yeah.
And I think I'm really excited to see your performance in April.
Awesome.
All right.
Yeah.
So why don't we get together then? I'll give you... if you want to, of course, meet beforehand and let me know how the love section of your life is going, definitely. But I definitely want to hear about your performance with the Smash Brothers and your creative bounce back from those awful journalists.
Okay.
Okay?
Perfect.
All right. You have a lovely day, my friend.
All right. Thanks, Doc.
Bye-bye. Thank you for listening to Life Coaching Comedians. Get in touch with Troy on her website at www.lifecoachingcomedians.com. Don't forget to come back next week where I'll be diving in deep with another comedian. Because on Thursdays, we do therapy. Therapy Thursdays. Until next time.